85% of respondents stated that they noticed a real lack of diversity, specifically within the leadership in their sector. So they were talking more widely than their own organisation, but across the sector. What are your thoughts on that? It's quite a large figure.
It is what it is, you know, and accept it as a baseline. I'd rather respond to that in citing that it is within your gift to do something about it and do things differently, and maybe just give 2 or 3 examples of that, Claire, again drawn from the experience of the last couple of years. One is even organizations in non-diverse contexts can signal their intent to diversify their workforce in the context of, for example, changing the performance of the organization. And we've got a lovely example in non-diverse Humberside, where a public sector organization determined that for them to move to their next phase of performance, they needed to attract diverse talent, which included ethnic minority talent. So they took 2 people from very, very diverse comfort zones of London and the conurbation of East Midlands, and they have invested in creating an environment where those 2 people are absolutely excelling at the moment, and that's been publicly and officially recognised by regulators on the transformational element of that brave act in the context of, you know, if there was any case for not being compelled to look at diversity, it'd be in this particular catchment area, but the benefits have been exponential because you've got an imaginative, courageous, convicted, committed group of leaders, including board representation, who get it. Another example is that, to a degree, a different example, which is because of the growing distribution of ethnic groups, people will often ask us, where do we go to advertise and recruit talent? And we look at public sector organizations, and interestingly, including private sector organizations, say, go where your client base come from. Right? So if you think about hospital trusts, community organizations, education providers, exponentially, they are growing. They have a very large and exponentially growing ethnic client base. They're on your doorstep. So the notion is you can grow your own. And the third example, I think, is that some of the ethnic minority young people do not receive the messages in their interactions with their line managers that the conversation and the commitment is about career progression. And that can be translated into the lack of ambition. And therefore, we've seen transformational change in practice where the conversation, you know, people will swear that they have appraisal systems and so on, whatever. What we have got to a degree from the feedback, the informal feedback, is those appraisals are used for anything other than the conversation about career progression. And where that has changed, it's been transformational for those individuals.